Hello everyone, welcome to the Dumbass Podcast. I am Winter.
I am Zach, Gold Pickman, actually in the same room.
Holy shit, what is this nonsense? And if you hear a noise in the background, it's because it's hot as fuck and we have a fan on. But today we're going to be talking about science. Something that I actually did somewhat decently in school.
Yeah. So, what was your goal here with this topic?
So, when I thought of the topic for science, I was thinking more or less like illegal science. Like how people like mutate and shit. Like a big thing that I thought of was the Chernobyl disaster. Because there's a lot of theories and shit based around that. Because like mutations, like science gone wrong. There's a lot of horror movies with that basic exact thing.
Yeah.
Just like being mad to the point where like you want to create something that's like so unholy and like.
Yeah.
Also, my other goal was so that I can talk about something that if you are like a true fan, I'm not gonna say true fan because a lot of you probably don't know what the hell I'm about to say is, but ever since. And I'm going to get this out of the way now. But ever since I made my very first YouTube channel, almost 6 years ago, and that channel is literally gone forever because I made it on my school account, but that's aside the point. There was a thing I had that I wanted to do called the microbe movie. Now, microbes are, well, microorganisms, but the microbes I'm referring to are called giant microbes. They're made by someone named Drew Oliver, and they are these plushies of, like, well, microbes. And for the longest time, like, oh, it'd be cool to make a movie on this, and, like, that idea just kind of was up in the air for the longest time, and I was like, well, like, I found all my microbes that I still have, and I'm like, you know, ever since I've been doing, like, YouTube, like, more, like, often now, like, I don't want to just let that idea go to waste, so I wrote down like a synopsis plot that I actually am really happy with. I posted about this on my Instagram a few times. I'll probably, because I actually made an official Instagram page for the microbe movie that I'll go ahead and link down below. But we got some cast figured out to voice the microbes, but it's just... It's a very cool project that we have for the later future.
Yeah. Well, if we're going back to the Chernobyl thing,
yeah.
That actually reminds me of a video I saw.
Okay.
It was these guys recording themselves, like, going into, like, walled-off, restricted zones of Chernobyl where you're not supposed to be.
Those bitches will die.
And they were spending the night. Some
shitty 24-hour thing.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, they were spending the night somewhere, but then in like the middle of the night, one of them was like woke up the others. It was like there's something out there.
Oh hell no.
And then when like the guy who actually has the camera is like up at the window, you see like this figure that you just can't figure out go up to the window, and then like it scares them, and it disappears, and it's like. YouTuber Chills actually covered the clip.
Oh
and
shit.
He said he couldn't. He's like. He was all like, maybe it was like someone messing with them, or perhaps it was a Chernobyl mutant man.
Yeah. We'll probably talk more about Chills in the next episode of the podcast,
Which we're recording right after.
Yeah. But like another thing with like science, like there's a really weird movie to say the least, but it's called Splice, where they like make this like mutated girl like from like animal DNA mixed with human DNA. It's a really fucked movie. I don't recommend watching it because it's really weird. But like when I thought of the whole science like stuff, I thought of more just illegal science, like I said, like stuff that should never exist, just like someone's like crazy thoughts and like wanting to do it. Like human centipede could fall in that. Like the concept behind that, unfortunately, like from like a scientific standpoint could make sense, but that doesn't mean it's okay. Because, like, there's so many, like, scientific things that are, like, would be really hard to explain, like, to anyone that doesn't, like, know about it. Like, and I'm obviously the wrong person to try to talk about that because I barely passed high school, but that's aside the point.
Yeah. So, I think another thing we could talk about is like a theoretical experiments going around in the actual real world.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I'm gonna start with this. Some people may have heard of it, and I've mentioned it before on the podcast, but I will bring it up again since it is technically a science.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. And that is the theoretical experimentation that could bring extinct species back to life.
Oh, yeah. Basically, IRL Jurassic Park.
Yeah. But it's more or less like extinct species of like birds or something.
Yeah.
You know, something that's probably like more reasonable.
Yeah.
They're not gonna try and like bring back the dinosaurs because that's obviously just a horrible idea.
Yeah.
Or like bringing back woolly mammoths.
Yeah. Because, like, there was, like, the whole thing, and I think I even brought this up before, like, because, like, if you were to successfully bring back a woolly mammoth, you can't just bring back one. They were, like, very, like, familial, like, animals. Like, they needed, like, another one. I don't know, there's a whole thing I saw about that, but that's aside the point. Because, like, Jurassic Park kind of, like, even though it's a movie, like, it brought up, like, interesting, like, parts, like, where, like, to finish the DNA, they use frogs' DNA, like, could something like that actually, like, work? Maybe not, like, that simple, obviously, but, like, splicing together DNA to get something and bring it back. Like, it's obviously just a terrible idea, but, like,
Well,
it's very interesting.
well, it would depend on what you're aiming to bring back. Like,
Yeah.
for example, if you're trying to like bring back woolly mammoths and you need to like quote finish the DNA, you would probably try and find something from like modern day elephants.
Yeah, that's true. There's, like... Oh, I lost my train of thought. Because... Why do I keep losing my train of thought? Sorry, guys. Also, we could bring up current diseases, because that's semi-science, because the whole COVID is still very much a thing.
Yeah, and spoiler alert for all you at home. We're not going to dwell on this too much, but spoiler alert for you at home. It's not going away.
No.
What's going to happen is it'll eventually just decrease in severity to the point where it's just another cold.
Yeah. Wear a fucking mask.
Dumbass.
Some of y'all are ugly as fuck. Wear a mask all the time. I'm joking. Maybe. But, like, there was another thing that was, like, I think it was more of a creepypasta, but it was the Russian sleep experiment. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That was a thing that when I was younger, like, always really messed with me, because there was, like, the image of, like, the guy, like, wrapped in bandages, like, with the creepy-ass smile.
Yeah, that's like another thing that like people don't like theoretically think about is stuff like people, unstable people. So like collectively that could mean like prisoners or like insane asylum patients, like collectively all kinds of like unstable people.
Yeah.
Theoretically it's the thought that like they could just easily be exploited for like experimentation with like medicine and stuff.
Yeah, and like, because the thing with like the prisoners, like I'm sure there are places like where like illegal experimentation actually happens on prisoners because they look at it like, oh, they're prisoners, they don't deserve rights. Like, it's very iffy on that topic because it really depends on the severity of the crime, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's why prisoners in prisons are divided into various classes. There's like low security for like petty thieves. There's like medium. there's like mid security, high security, max security, death row.
Yeah. Whatever the fuck Hannibal Lecter was on.
That's solitary.
Yeah.
Solitary confinement, that's what that is.
Yeah.
And solitary confinement is like for prisoners that have acted up after being put in prison.
Yeah. Because I really didn't think this topic through too much.
No, yeah, I bet you didn't, because you were just finding a way to promote your movie.
Yeah. But still, there's a lot to be talked about in terms of science.
There's another experiment that kind of went around the internet before people actually, and like people didn't actually like look into the reasoning behind it. So there was like a whole news line going around like Japan is experimenting with like creating animal-human hybrids.
Oh yeah, was that the one with like that pig image?
Okay, so yeah, let me explain. So like when that news line went around, a lot of people started making memes about making like basically real life furry people.
Oh god.
But like that's obviously not at all the intention. What it means by animal-human hybrids is what they're doing is they're growing human organs in pigs.
Mm-hmm.
For the sake of like having them for like transplant purposes.
Oh yeah, I remember about that.
Because like something that like is already like a very drastic measure scenario is to give someone a pig's heart.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is like they're starting to grow like human organs in pigs by making hybrids. And
It's really strange though when you think about it.
yeah.
It's very bizarre.
And they're doing it for the sake of transplant purposes. So that like, oh, this guy in the hospital, he needs kidneys, well give him these 2 human kidneys we grew in this pig.
It sounds really fucked when like you think about it, but like it's not that wrong, I guess, but I don't know. I'm no vegan, so I'm not against killing a pig for the better of humanity.
Yeah. It's like, it's saving people's lives, so...
Yeah. Like, I don't condone killing animals just because, but like, that's for a valuable purpose. So...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, since we brought it up before, let's think logistic-wise.
Yeah.
Since you brought it up earlier, Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Let's say theoretically, something like that could happen. Maybe not necessarily dinosaurs, but people make like through like this DNA completion thing you were talking about, people end up making like these very big and dangerous like hybrid animals.
Yeah. It's definitely something that I feel is probably, if it were to happen, extremely illegal somehow. You have to be doing something illegal by doing that. There's no way Jurassic Park was legal. Like in the terms of reality, like there's no way.
Oh, another possibility from this anti-extinction experiment is the possibility of bringing humans back from the dead.
Oh yeah. Huh. Cause like there's like whole like finding something frozen in ice, trying to bring that back.
Yeah.
With all this crazy science we got, like scientifically wise, we've come like a really long way. Like, cause there's like times where, in terms of science, like, you really have to fail to get results, like good results when it comes to science, at least sometimes. Because, I don't know, you gotta think of like all like the like drug-related like medicine we have now. Like how long did it take just to get to that point? Because wasn't there like a time where Coke was used as like Coca-Cola was used as something that wasn't a drink?
Yeah, there was actually, that's why it's called Coca-Cola, because there was actual Coke in it.
Get you that extra kick.
So You know what else is an interesting science?
What?
Robotics.
That is extremely true. Cause, yeah. Cause how close? Cause we've come a long way in terms of robotics. I don't think we're anywhere close to like what like media has portrayed. But like the idea of robotics is also kind of scary because of something that could go wrong. You know, like there's already like we have like self-driving cars. There's the whole argument like that would a car choose to swerve out of the way and then like accidentally hit someone there, or like keep going forward and hit someone there. There's that whole argument. Like, how does a car determine that?
I mean, I guess it's a fair question. I mean, here's the thing. A lot of people also kind of make that argument with, like, quote, automated weapons.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Because it's like, oh, a robot can't decide. It's like, well, here's the thing. It's actually not legal to make a fully automated weapon and let a machine control the firing system. What happens is they have these automatic weapons that are like, what they do is they detect someone, and then the operator gets to choose whether or not to fire upon it. So there's still a human behind the decision.
Yeah, because if it was like fully, like AI, like that shit is not gonna like just not hit anybody. Like it would end up hitting everybody. It'd be very scary to try to stop it, I think.
Another, but let's actually hold on. Let's go on this little tangent here.
Okay.
Let's think. Killer robotics.
Yeah. Very scary.
So theoretically, let's say, kind of like Jurassic Park, let's say someone made like these like very unstable machines. You could almost argue, kind of like Five Nights at Freddy's would be.
Yeah.
But let's say something a bit more
Realistic?
Let's say something a bit more. Well, no, FNAF is actually very realistic because
Yeah.
animatronics are a thing. But
Yeah.
let's say something more a bit outlandish, like
Okay.
like a really big machine that just has an unnecessary amount of like
Force behind it?
like weapons, or like a really big machine with like an unnecessary amount of weapons, or something like say we eventually get to like Android level where we have like machines that could pass off as human beings.
Yeah, like Detroit, Become Human.
Yeah.
That's what I always think of there, like, because there is like the thought of like, what's the breaking point? Like, something like it's very scary. Like, in that game, like how they could just suddenly like gain control. Like, it's something that's definitely would worry a lot of people if we started having like androids like that.
Yeah.
I feel like that would justifiably worry people.
Yeah. It would cause some worry, but as long as you're not like some anti-vaxxing, flat-earthing piece of shit, there would be no reason for them to argue against you.
Yeah. Because, like, robotics in the sense, like, it'd be really helpful, like, because there's the part in Detroit Become Human where the old guy has an android, and to help him for that, like it could really help out like some elderly people, like when they can't like do stuff on their own, they don't have to worry about being like afraid of being judged. Like if like they need help like going to the bathroom or something, like an android's not going to judge you, like, so it could be good in that sense, but it's also just kind of unsettling sometimes. Something that looks enough like a human, but you know it's not. It's very unsettling.
But yeah, but like just the thought that like, just the thought that it could also just like, there's also the possibility that, you just never even know
Yeah.
that they were.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
Like, there really wouldn't be a decent way for you to find out. Which, I feel like if that happened, and, like, say, like, one of your best friends turned out to be an android. Like, well, okay, so would they age? That's what I feel like would be the giveaway.
so, I mean, it depends on what kind of thoughtful mind you have behind it, because, like, if you can have, like, a location, like, you have someone who's, like, he's thought of it, he's, like, the person making it is, like, has thought of all the possibilities and also has a location for them to, like, go. I feel like theoretically you could have, like, every once in a while you could give them, like, an adjustment that, like, makes them seem more...
Yeah. More human.
More, like, old.
There's a movie about that with Robin Williams in it. That's that exact plot. I forget what the movie's called, but it's a really sad movie because, like, he becomes more and more human. Either way, that's aside the point. But, like, robotics is a really, really interesting thing to think about because it would require, like, a lot to be able to, like, master. And we're already kind of down that road anyways with, like, a lot of, like, machines that we have now. Like, scientifically speaking, like, I don't think it's impossible to do that. It just would take time.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, there's certain, like, kinds of robotics that people just associate with, like, certain things. Like, for example, someone might see, like, see a restaurant using, like, animatronic robotic performers, and then, like, because they're very simple-minded, they're just like, oh, what is this, Five Nights at Freddy's?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, like, the thing about robotics is that, like, you have to be, like, willing to, like, you have to be, one, like, willing to do the research behind it.
Yeah.
It's like, because, like you said, it's a very complex matter, and if we can get it right, it would be a very useful thing to have.
It definitely would be a scientific breakthrough, but, like we
Like,
would definitely have to... It'd be one of those things that people would definitely have to perfect, so there wouldn't be, like... There'd be an extremely low risk of something going wrong.
Like, I don't know, maybe we can't have, like, Ed 209s from RoboCop walking the street with, like, their twin-mounted miniguns, but...
Yeah.
Something we could have is, like... Something we could have a lot is, like... Here's the thing. It's like... I know I've been, like, casually dropping, like, you know, FNAF, it's, like, stuff. But, like, think about it, like, this way. Like, especially, special delivery. It's, like... Because, like, the whole plot of the game is, like... There are people who are, like... It's like, they're, like, targeting, like, a very lonely demographic and having, like, the ability to have an animatronic character shipped to you to give you entertainment. It's like, if something like that were to exist realistically, there are people who do sometimes feel, like, I don't know, lonely, they're not happy.
Yeah.
They need, like, even if it's not even, like, passable as a human, they could still use something that acts like a human and is entertaining or companion-wise.
Yeah, that's true. And, like... Well, this is kind of like a weird, like, way to think of it, but, like... Say, like, they could get an android of, like a friend or a family member that had passed, so they could just, like, spend time with them again. I think that'd be kind of neat. Be very strange... Because you know that's not them, but still, like, mental-wise, that would very much help.
Well, that kind of development would probably be, like... what they would probably do is that actually kind of ties into all kinds of the science we just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically, if that were to be a thing that could happen, what they'd probably have to do is they'd have to take the deceased family member,
Mm-hmm.
see if they can use that anti-extinction sort of treatment to at least get their brain moving,
Mm-hmm.
and then somehow find a way to get all their thoughts into an android machine,
Yeah.
and yeah, which again, when you introduce advanced technology, you then enable people who thrive to become very powerful or immortal through turning themselves into the machinery.
Yeah. And then, one other thing I want to talk about, because it's a little more close to home, we're always making well, not us, but, us as humans, humanity's always making, breakthroughs in, different types of medicine, as someone that, has depression and has had depression for a very, very long time, it'd be cool if, one day there was, a legitimate cure for depression, a permanent cure.
Yeah, a medicine that could actually correct the chemicals your brain produces.
Yeah, it's so I'm
'Cause
gonna tell you right now, I will sign up to test that.
Because the whole thing is, a lot of mental illnesses are just caused by their brains creating the wrong chemicals.
Yeah.
So if there was a way to diagnose specific patterns, for example there's eyesight, obviously you have 20/20 vision, and you have people that are nearsighted or farsighted. You have these categories.
Mm-hmm.
You have people with 20/30 vision, which means you have people with 20/30 vision, which means what they see 20 meters away is what a normal person sees 30 meters away, and you have various degrees of obviously it would be a bit more complex than just going up and down a line and more like a web, but what you could do is you have medicine that's specifically targeted for people that produce this kind of chemical and this kind, or they produce these two a little bit more than they should.
Yeah.
You need to and there was obviously there would have to be medicines to correct all forms of complex possibilities.
Yeah.
For brain skews, but theoretically, if there could just be a development of a medicine that corrects the way the brain produces chemicals, then
it would definitely be. And one more thing to say in that vein of category, with mental hospitals, it'd be cool if they actually had medicine that could just cure that person mentally, and so they could return back to society, and there wouldn't be all this harsh treatment and stuff that does happen in some mental hospitals. I know from experience that the staff don't always treat them like people. So it'd be nice if there was just an easier way to I'm sure science will make that breakthrough eventually. I really do. Cause and then that's along the lines of eventually creating a cure for cancer. I feel it will get done eventually. Who knows how long it'll be, but I don't think it's impossible.
It's definitely not impossible. The problem with cancers is that it's right now one of our most effective ways is to just poison someone to kill it.
Mm-hmm.
But that also leaves the side effect of poisoning a lot of other aspects, leaving them in a kind of very poor, decrepit state.
Yeah.
But the poison they use still kind of is able to get at the cancer first before damaging everything else.
Yeah.
So generally the idea would be see if you can figure out something that really can figure out what is the cancer or the tumor.
Yeah.
And target it and like leave the rest of the body alone.
Yeah.
Cause I already know, cause a person I know of, I definitely wouldn't say on a personal level because I don't talk to this person, but I still know of them. A person I know has recently gotten cancer, and like he told his story of like him going to the hospital and the doctors like breaking down how the treatment will work.
Yeah.
And basically he explained how like his chemotherapy works and how it's like basically they just like it's a form of poison that goes through his system,
Yeah.
kills off the cancer, but it also kills off stuff like his blood cells. So like he goes through like a quote round, which is like, a dosage that won't kill him. And like obviously he then like takes time to like recover his like actually healthy aspects, and then once he's capable of going through another set to like further degrade his cancer, then he does it again, and the whole process kind of repeats until the cancer's gone, and then he's able to like once again recover the rest of his systems, like his circulatory.
Yeah. Was there anything science-wise we wanted to talk about?
Since you basically chose this topic to promote your movie, why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit more about that?
So, can you grab my iPad? I want to read them out the plot of what I have.
Okay. So viewers, you get stalled. Stall the viewers.
All right. Because I'll promote giant microbes to them.
Yeah.
So giant microbes, as I said before, are these plushies of like, they have different kinds. They have some that are like STDs, different diseases, different like parts of the body. Some of them are like different like types of animals. Like one of them is like a leech, which is one of the ones that'll be in the movie. All different kinds, and like they're very like informational plushies because each one you would buy has a tag on it that gives you information about like what that like thing is, what it does. Like one I recently got was actually COVID-19, and it like told you different stuff about it. So they're very informational. Like I had a science teacher back in middle school that had a few of them. And for you loyal viewers that actually listen to the podcast, I mean, I'm not going to blame you if you don't. Sometimes we can be boring, and I will not deny that fact. But I will read you what I have of the synopsis. If I could speak, that would be fantastic. But the synopsis, there we go.
Yeah.
Of the plot. Yeah, I got a whole count.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. And I don't know if it's going to stay called the Microbe Movie. It might, but if I can think of a better name, I will. Alright, I will read you out our current rough draft of the plot. The movie will be about an independent organization that studies different types of diseases. But one of the workers accidentally breaks a vial that the organization had created, which releases a gas that knocks the worker out. It gets all over the petri dishes. When the worker wakes up, several of the different petri dishes are open and he hears scurrying in one of the filing cabinets. When he discovered that some of the diseases have grown into a physical-like state, where they are able to move around and talk. The worker soon finds out that this secret lab is actually not who he had thought they were. They are evil and are working to create a new virus to fix overpopulation on Earth. The microbes claim that they know that what this lab has been up to and can help report them to the authorities. He agrees to help him and put the microbes in a protective case, and he walks out of the facility. Soon, the other workers figure out what he's doing from the security cameras, and they need to stop him, not only to make sure that he never tells anyone about this, but those microbes could also be worth a fortune to the right buyer. And that is what we have so far.
So basically, for those of you at home, it's basically like kind of like an inverted Jurassic Park.
Yeah, pretty much.
Rather than outsiders breaking into the company to like steal their secrets and sell them, it's the company themselves trying to stop an outsider from stealing the secret so that they don't sell it.
Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna give away our whole cast, mainly because we don't have it. But one of the ones I'm voicing is Leprosy. And one of the ones Zach here is voicing is Leech. That's all they get for now. Honestly, though, you'll get more if you follow the page on Instagram, and I will link it below. But it's COVID vaccine. But yeah, giant microbes are like a really cool thing, and they're extremely informational too. So
Yeah, not only like they're pretty good plushie, like they're pretty good plushies. They're informational, and the best, like honestly, one of the best parts is like some of them are just like designed really well.
yeah, some of them have like different features and stuff. Like there is a tapeworm one that like it's like cord thing like stretches.
Yeah,
It's
like
really neat.
and like even some of the things you wouldn't expect to be cool, like they have like a set of 3 based on like anxiety, depression, and insomnia. And
Yeah.
you wouldn't think it, but the ones they have for those actually have pretty decent designs.
They're really like well designed and like give like because they look like brains, but like they're designed like after like kind of what the mental illness feels like.
Yeah, so like yeah, what they have is like it's a brain that's like colored kind of themed to the thing.
Yeah.
And what they also have is on top there's like a thought bubble with like a knitted picture that like displays the thought patterns of that person.
Yeah.
So like insomnia is like a blue and yellow brain, and like the thought bubble is like obviously nighttime because someone with insomnia doesn't sleep and is often up all night.
Yeah.
The anxiety one is like kind of like a palish beige and red kind of themed color, and like the thought bubble is a bunch of like black arrows across a red background crisscrossing, and like it's like a confusing and chaotic mess.
And the depression one is like gray, and on the design it has storm clouds.
Which for those of you unaware, it's like obviously they're not trying to say depression is just sadness. The reason for the storm clouds is like it's not like just sad thoughts, it's like storms are destructive. It's like destructive, chaotic thoughts, which is what depression can often be. But the gray color also applies blandness.
Yeah. They're very cool. I'm going like obviously we're not sponsored by them, but I'm definitely going to link them down below. Same with the Instagram page that we've made.
If they would like to sponsor us though, hit us
Definitely not going to say no.
up. Hit us up. All right.
Yeah.
But I'd say is there really much else we can go into?
I don't think so. We've given, I feel like, a very decent bit. Like, obviously, we're no scientists, so we're not the best people to ask about this.
We've gone through all kinds of sciences, various like scientific things spreading around the world.
Yeah.
And like we also decided to like promote something that's very science based.
Yeah. And, like, when we make the movie, like, I'm gonna, like, make sure, like, the cells, like, look scientific. Like, I'm gonna make it accurate, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I spent as someone who like was in a photography class for 2 years, one of the things I did was to practice my photography skills was I also observed the other like classes in the school. Like not only did I observe them, but I also had like took pictures of them at work.
Yeah.
And one of the things I did, like by doing that, was I got to see because like I spent a lot of my time observing the biomedical science kids, and me and my partner, we were assigned to that class, and obviously we were like observing the kids messing with like them making their own homemade bacteria.
Yeah.
And it's like they were in like pastry dishes.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff about science. There's a lot of scary stuff about science, but
science is cool.
Yeah. Take it from Bill Nye.
People can say what they want about Bill Nye. Bill Nye was actually pretty cool.
I'm pretty sure he did meth, though.
consider the following.
Meth. But on that note, thank you guys for tuning in to the Dumbass Podcast. Tune in tomorrow for the next episode.
But, before we let you go, like we said, there's something we're going to be promoting a lot, and that's that on December 11th, Stargazer Studios, aka us, are going to be streaming on Twitch.
Yeah.
On December 11th, Thankmas.
Yep. We're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff. We'll do a video explaining it soon.
We're gonna be going on a stream for like about 10 hours, and we're gonna be doing all kinds of stuff. We're gonna be like making props on camera. We're gonna be playing games. We're gonna
we have some like donation goal challenges to do.
Yeah. There's also there's probably even gonna be a very certain video that we're gonna produce live.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
But even if you can't donate, just come, hang out, it'll be a fun time.
Yeah, like, even if you don't have enough money, like you just have to look after yourself, that's fine. You can still hop on the stream. Like, if you enjoy us and you, like, enjoy what we do, you should still come to the stream and just watch us do what we do. Because you'll actually get to see a lot of, like, what we do to plan out a lot of the things we make for you.
You'll honestly see a little bit more like what we're like off camera, because we just kind of chill. But it'll be a fun time. Just come and hang out. I'll link the Twitch down below as well as the other stuff.
But sellout time is over, and the podcast, this episode, is over. So once again, thank you all for coming.
And we'll see you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.